Exporting means finishing your video and sharing it in a video file. Right now, you can only watch your project in HitFilm Express on the computer that has your raw footage, but you want to make a standalone video file that other people can play or that you can put up online. So you want to export once you've finished all your editing. And you may want to do it now just for practice so you've done it once and you know how it works. Before you export in HitFilm, you'll want to make a subfolder inside of your editing folder. I usually call it exports in all caps so that it stands out when I'm looking for it later. I make it in a folder because I'm likely to have more than one version of any video file that I make, so I want them all in a single place where they're easy to find. We'll talk about making different versions of your videos later on. It's actually pretty easy to export a video file in this program. There's an export button on the right-hand side of the editing window. That'll click open an export menu. There's a bunch of options, including exporting out just a single frame and lots of more complicated things, but what we want is the simple one, export to file. Now that opens up a file menu, so you can open up your project folder and make your exports folder and give the file a name. We're going to save it as an MP4, that's a video file, and then hit save. Now up here, this window switches from being a viewer to an export window, and it shows the progress of the file as it exports. Depending on your computer, this may be pretty fast or pretty slow. Guess which one my computer is. So we'll speed up through this, then it gives me a chime when it's finished. Let's go take a look. Here's the file. It's beautiful. I love everything about it. Well, now that it's done, you should be able to play the new video file on your computer or even upload it to about any social media platform. Most of them, they'll let you upload lots of different formats of video. One final note about the software. You're going to have some problems along the way as you use it. Asking computers to edit video is asking them to use almost every part of the computer at its maximum capacity. It's like if you're running a sprint while eating a steak, while all writing an essay at the same time. You're asking the computer to do a lot, and it's going to screw up sometimes. That's just the nature of the thing. A couple of things you can do to help along the way, all of which start from assuming the computer, it's gonna mess up sometimes. That's what computers do. We've come to rely on computers for almost everything we do all day, and our lives can be made a whole lot easier if we just assume they're gonna screw up sometimes and prepare accordingly. The first thing to do when you're about to edit, reboot your computer before you start. Then try not to run any other programs while you're editing, so you're not asking the computer to do quite so much while you're asking it to edit. Second thing, be constantly saving. Again, Control S every time you stop to think, so that if anything happens, you're good, probably up to that last save. I have a program that makes automatic backups of all my work every day. So this next tip, it's one that I've gotten the computer to do for me automatically, but if you don't have that, you want to make a copy of your project file after every time that you edit in it. I'll copy the file to a new folder, maybe even on a separate hard drive so it's extra safe, and I'll add the date to the file name so I can keep track of all my backups. This does two things for me. One, if the file gets an error, I can step back to a previous version and only lose today's work instead of all the work I've done so far. Secondly, if I make a bad editing choice today and I want to go back to yesterday's version or even just look at yesterday's version or last week's version, I've got all those backups to look back on. Just those 3 steps will help to keep you safe and solve or at least mitigate a lot of problems for you. I really recommend that you reboot, save constantly, and make regular backups. And again, just a reminder that the internet has lots of resources and tutorials for HitFilm. Take a look at some of those. If anything stumps you, there's a great chance someone else has had that problem and has already solved it for you.